Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rock 30. It's L.A. Lloyd here. We got Dan Marsala back from Story of the Year for his second time. Good to have you back on the show, man.
It's great to be here. Yeah, a lot of excitement going on. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you got a big year for sure, man. Well, last time we talked, the album hadn't been released, and now fans have kind of had a little time to live with all the songs on there. What's kind of been an opinion or feedback you've heard from some of the fans that may have surprised you or, you didn't expect to hear?
Yeah, it's been very positive reception to the album so far. And I mean, it's always a surprise, because we never know. We put out music that we like, and we don't ever know if it's going to work or if it's going to connect with people. It's weird to work on a record for like a whole year and then be like, okay, I hope people like this, But yeah, it's been very positive. I mean, I knew people were gonna. It was good enough to where people weren't gonna hate it, but it's like it's doing much better than we even could have expected. I think the most surprising thing is that the first single is Gasoline, because we thought that was just going to be like a heavy album track kind of, and like we had no intention of that being like a big single or anything. So, but then when label and management were both like, no, that's like one of the catchiest songs, and we have to just lead with that, and we're like, oh, cool, Gasoline, really? It's like we thought that was a little too heavy to just come out of the gates with, but yeah, and then it's actually working and it's getting played a lot at radio and it's having a lot of success, that's pretty surprising to us, because that's very different than 20 something years ago, whenever you couldn't scream at all in your singles and you couldn't have anything like that on the radio.
Right.
So, it's a vastly different world now, so that's cool.
Yeah, and from our previous conversation, the amount of demos that you had were, I guess you got to thank Ryan for writing and writing and writing all the time. But what is the method to the madness to go through all these songs and pieces or riffs or whatever you may have lying around, that finally you feel the combination that clicks with everyone?
Yeah, we usually get in, like on the last two records, we just have gone in with Colin Britton, our producer, and we just kind of go through everything and he'll listen, and then he'll go, "Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. That riff's cool." Maybe not the whole song idea, but he'll kind of take notes and be like, "I liked that part. I liked that thing." And we'll do the same thing. It's like, "Yeah, I really like that one." So we just kind of narrow it down in the room, listen through a bunch of stuff for like an hour or two, and then like, "Yep, let's work on that." So it's just as soon as something catches your ear, it's like you move in that direction. It's like we don't plan it out too much. It's just, "Ooh, that's cool. Let's go in that direction and see where it takes us."
Well, being together for over 20 years, I mean, we've all seen how music trends can really fluctuate from not only year to year, but month to month sometimes. So with that said, what is, staying consistent to your sound? Like you said, back in the day, you really couldn't scream, and now Gasoline's this really heavy song that is on the radio now. What has been kind of the key to just staying consistent to who you are and your sound and, keep moving forward to keep you together for over 20 years?
Yeah, it's, I think we'd always just write music that we like, and that we want to hear. And obviously that evolves over the years, but in a way it kind of doesn't. We are lucky enough to where, for some reason, if me and Ryan, like if he plays something, it can be kind of wild and different. But as soon as I put my voice on it, it usually ends up sounding like Story of the Year. And we didn't know that was going to happen in the early days, but now anything we do, I go, "Oh yeah, it sounds like us. That's cool." And I guess, we have a unique enough sound to where that works out. But I don't know. So much has changed, but our mentality always stays the same. And I think that's that consistency, whenever you have a lot of success, but then, yeah, it drops off in the middle because, trends change. Like we're saying, there was a lot of years where this kind of music wasn't, topping the charts and it wasn't the coolest thing anymore. But we just kind of stayed the course and just kept doing what we love. And then it all comes back around again. And now we're living in that period, so I'm sure in another 5 years we won't be that cool again. But that's okay. We'll just keep doing what we do and just loving what we do.
Right, and the album title, I love it, A.R.S.O.N. I mean, it feels bigger than an album title, and all rage, still only numb. When did that phrase become the true identity of the record?
Yeah, that we built that at the end, kind of, because we always get done recording and look back at the collection of songs and it's like, okay, what did we just write? We're not really a band who comes up with the concept first and then like follows a whole path on what to make your record about. But so we had a few ideas, and that line from Gasoline, "Here for the A.R.S.O.N," I was like, that's just such a weird standout line that just the idea of arson, it just made sense. And so we kind of came up with an acronym that encompassed the whole record. and like just the rage and the numb thing, just the emotions that both of those kind of bring up. It kind of just felt like, the whole idea of the record. So yeah, that was kind of a last minute idea, but yeah, I think it really makes sense to how the record feels.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of emotion when you write something that you might have been through or the fans might have been through, and then you got to do these songs live night after night. Has there been moments where a particular song on the new record, or maybe it's even Gasoline or an older song, just kind of hits a little harder than you expected when you're out there performing it live, and you can kind of feel that energy from the fans of how emotionally they're feeling it as well?
Yeah, like you never know what it's going to feel like live. It's like some songs you're like, that song's going to be really fun to play. And then you go out and you play it a couple times and you're like, oh man, that didn't really connect. And, people just stared at us the whole time. And that you never really know. But a song like Gasoline, it's just such an energetic, big song that it immediately was fun to play live. And people, really responded. And especially lately after it's been out for a little bit, it's like, it's really cool now. People are screaming it back at us. And that's just an instant live classic. And it's fun. But yeah, you never know. Some songs you really love and they just don't translate live. So you just end up not playing them, and you never know what are going to be the ones that transition into your set. It's a gamble. You never know.
Yeah. And, going back to something you said earlier about kind of halfway through the life of the band, 2010 to 2015, music became a little more folky, if you will, like Mumford and Sons. And during that time, Story of the Year, did take a little hiatus. You had some side projects going on. But when did you know it was time to kind of, hey, guys, let's get back together. Let's work on some new stuff. And then, of course, Wolves came after that break.
Yeah, it was a weird time for our kind of music in general. It was also like we were about 10 years into our career and we were a little burnt out as well. So I think we needed a little bit of a break, and just the scene in general was taking a break in a way. But we all had young kids at the time. We all were building our families and kind of growing up ourselves and learning how to be functioning adults while we played rock and roll at the same time. So yeah, we kind of just didn't purposely take a break, but it just naturally needed to happen. And then I think after a few years, it was like, okay, if we want to still be a band, we really need to bring our focus back. And, as our kids got a little bit older, and we could justify being like, hey, I got to leave you for months at a time. And hopefully you can understand this if we're going to be a band, if I'm going to have this job still. So yeah, I think it just, the timing made sense. And, we always wanted to be a band forever, but, you just don't know if you can financially make it work or mentally make the balance work. And, we just knew it was time again. And, this resurgence of this emo pop punk scene or whatever you want to call this whole scene, but just the resurgence has made it, an option for us to really dive fully back in and be a band again. And now that we see it working, we're just really embracing that momentum and going with it.
Well, now that the album is out, I mean, obviously you want to play as much new music as you possibly can, but, fans, they're coming there to hear the songs they've known throughout the career of the band. What is the balance? And I'm sure it's ever changing from night to night, maybe, or month to month or whatever, but what's the balance between the new songs and the older songs that fans, are looking to hear when they see you live?
There's always going to be staples in the set. We got to play the big songs, and we don't have to, but, personally, I feel like we have to, but I love the reaction from like when we play Until the Day I Die or something. I mean, that's always going to be the most amazing part of the set, and just to still be able to have that staple to fall back on and have that be one of the biggest moments of every set, it's an amazing feeling. But yeah, it's also great to have new songs that can connect and have energy as well. And right now, it's kind of a half and half thing. Like I think the last couple things we've done. It was like between Tear Me to Pieces and A.R.S.O.N, not Wolves. We don't usually put a lot of Wolves on the set list, unfortunately, because it just wasn't a very big record because we put it out ourselves, and it was a weird in between transitional period there. But things that have been released in the last 5 to 10 years compared to the first 10, it's pretty even now, which is cool because we're not just relying on nostalgia and just they used to be a cool band. It's like we really strive to keep the momentum going and still be putting out good quality music. And I think we're doing that. And yeah, having that balance in the set is great. It keeps it exciting for us as well.
Yeah, and talking about how bands don't really follow trends just to kind of stay consistent to their sound. From my side of the microphone, sometimes we kind of have to go with what the listeners want, what they're requesting, what they're asking for. So obviously we have kind of some ebb and flows as well. Going back from Until the Day I Die up to Gasoline. So I'm glad that the way music is kind of going now, especially for terrestrial radio. What's your vibe on how radio has reacted to Gasoline? Because to me, it seems like, all the other programmers I've talked to, man, they're like, yeah, this is the one, because this song hadn't even debuted last time you were on the show in November. And here it is now in the top 20 on the Rock 30.
Yeah, it's insane. Because, we don't write music with that in mind anymore necessarily. And I think as soon as we stopped worrying about anything like that, we were putting out actually better songs for that situation, which was weird. But yeah, it's I think as of this week, it's going to be our third most played radio song of all time. Like Until the Day I Die and Anthem Over a Dying Day will still have that beat, but we don't care anymore. Off of our second record was like our third highest radio charting song ever. But yeah, as of this week, Gasoline is taking it over in a time where radio is very different and it's a lot harder to get radio plays. All around because just the internet and technology, it's so much different now. But still, it's doing so much better than we would have expected on that front. And that's awesome. It's a cool thing that we did not expect, but it feels cool to be back in that world where we're gaining new fans and getting all this new excitement from different arenas. It's cool.
Yeah, and obviously we want more songs from A.R.S.O.N to get some radio airplay as well. And the great thing about having you in my format here is I get to have this interview spread out throughout the entire 3 hours of the Rock 30, and we get a chance to play other songs besides just the singles. So is there one song that now that you've got the album out there and you've seen how people are reacting that now looking back has kind of hit you a little differently or unexpected, or just maybe a song you recommend that we play besides Gasoline today as well?
Well, I think the second song we're going to try to push that we're getting ready to put a video out for is called See Through. It's the third song on the record. But the one that surprises me the most is a song called 3 a.m. It's like my favorite song lyrically. And a lot of people, now that the record's out, everybody's like, I think 3 a.m. is my favorite. I don't necessarily think that's going to be like a big single for us or anything, but I think for an album track, I think that's the one that people really love. And it just hits home to a lot of people. It's about the dynamics of touring and having a family at home, and the struggle of trying to pull off both, and how much it sucks to leave your family for a month at a time and be gone. But I think the song like really captures that feeling, and that's the one that's connecting the most with a lot of people. And so that's my favorite on the record. I think whether or not that's the one that we need to play, who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, you kind of scared me there for a second. I was thinking back to Matchbox 20 back in the 90s who had a song called 3. I was like, wow, they've covered Matchbox 20. Holy hell.
It's wildly different than the Matchbox 21, but that's a great song as well. It's a great song. But
that it is.
Actually, when we were like coming up with the title, because it says 3 a.m. in the chorus, but it was like, we can't call it 3 a.m., right? It's like Matchbox 20 has a song, and it's like, you know what? It's been long enough. We can do that. It's fine.
Right. Well, obviously, when you're playing a lot of these festivals that you've been doing, there is all walks of life, all ages, all types. And obviously, you've got, people who are singing along with your songs who may be very young, that, these songs are 20 years old. How does that feel in the festival setting, or just any time overall when you've got this, kind of generation of people who've been kind of following your career?
Yeah, it's very cool. It was weird at first to like see people bringing their kids to the show, and I was like, man, this is like we were like an old band now, and it's like, but like after, which is great now. It's like I've been embracing that, and it's like this is so cool to see a mom or a dad with their kid in the front row, just both singing along, or just to see like the later teens or early 20s kids who grew up with it with their parents, that now they're a real full fan. It's like it's such a cool thing. It took a while to get used to like being a band that long, because although we've been here the whole time throughout these 20 something years, I still feel like we just started as a band, and it's like I can't really wrap my head around the fact that it's been as long as it has. But it's a great feeling just to keep seeing the progression and seeing people sing along. It's always great.
Yeah. And I'm really happy to see all the festivals you got coming up in 2026, going all the way through September there in Mexico City. After that, or maybe in between, are there going to be a headlining or support tour for you guys so you could get to play more songs from A.R.S.O.N? Because obviously, you're going to have a longer set list when you kind of get out of that, crunch on the setting situation you have there.
Yeah, we're about to announce, I think in the next week or so, we have a bunch of headlining dates, a couple different legs of stuff that we're connecting a lot of these festivals with. We're finalizing all the dates, so we didn't have all the stuff announced yet. But yeah, a lot of excitement in between there for the U.S. So if you're in any city, pretty much anywhere in the U.S., we're gonna be hitting you up this year for sure. And but yeah, it is cool because the festival stuff's really fun. You get to play for a lot of new fans and like people that wouldn't necessarily always come see Story of the Year, but and sometimes it's like 20, 30,000 people. But yeah, the set list is limited. Usually it's 30, 45 minutes, something like that. So it's always good to bounce that off of doing hour and a half headlining shows and seeing your real fans and having that real connection. So I like doing a little bit of both.
Right. Well, cool, man. Well, I sure appreciate you being on the Rock 30 today for your second time. And I hope to see you live somewhere later on this year, maybe Austin or San Antonio at least, which is right here in my neck of the woods, man. Always happy to see you guys live. And congratulations again on the success of Gasoline. And hopefully play many more from A.R.S.O.N, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Dan. Have a good day, buddy. We'll see you.
All right. You too. Thank you.